Hello everyone and welcome to the season finale of WOR here in China. Today we are doing a last to first challenge, of course, as we wrapped up the championship last week, so we could focus on having some fun, having some battles, and making an entertainment content for you, actually. So I'm very excited to commentate on this race as we're already on the grid, of course, because we didn't do qualifying, and it's 5 lights, and lights out, away we go as well. You can see we've got Yano, Nicholas, Ismail, Jake Benham as well, also starting from the back. So it's going to be quite interesting, actually, having so many fast people already immediately ahead of us as we go into the opening laps of the race. But as you can see right now, just playing a little bit smart, being a little bit strategical, and not putting my front wing in danger, as it would be so easy just to clip a front wing, lose a bit of downforce, and race is already over before it gets started. As you can see, just faking some overtakes there, just trying to see if we can open up a gap ahead of us, but more or less just hanging back, being conservative, not putting ourselves in a situation that we can lose or get any damage going ahead. This race is actually quite difficult as well, because going into the race, I only had 4 hours of preparation on a new set of pedals. The previous night, normally using Fanatec V3s, as we're looking down the inside, and Nicholas Longe, can we do it? Not quite, but he does go up the inside. It hits Yano, but so we're going to try and do a switchback on Nicholas and try and get a better exit onto the straight, and now we are side by side on the exit. Can we do anything? Can we get the slipstream from the cars ahead? Not quite. Fortunately for Nicholas, the cars stayed to the left-hand side of the track, so it was very difficult for us to get the slipstream, and we don't want to be using our battery down this straight, so we're just going to slot in behind, choose the outside line, and then just, again, be conservative on the exit, not be in a position that we can get caught up in other people's crashes. But as I was saying, only 4 hours of preparation going to a Fanatec V2 pedals, previously on the Fanatec V3, as the throttle pedal broke, unfortunately, the night before the race. So very difficult to get used to these pedals, but that's not going to be stopping us as we're looking around the outside, and Nicholas Longe deep on the brakes. Can we carry the momentum around the outside line onto the power? Not quite enough grip on the outside line there to carry it all the way around the outside, but really trying to push and get our car into some gaps. You see it, there's carnage up ahead, 3 wide on the exit, and again, we're going to be smart, strategical, and decisive here. Go for a good exit all the way, massive momentum on the exit. 1, 2, and now we're going to be getting 3 cars in one straight, and we're around the outside of Ismail Fassi to wrap up the move here in turn 1. Not quite done yet, but now just carry the momentum, and that is move secured, going from last place to P17 in one move. Considering the caliber of drivers in that overtake, it was very good, but it feels a bit weird to say that was only for 17th, but of course we're only on lap 3 of a race after starting from the back. Eyes forward now and trying to regenerate that battery that we used in that overtaking opportunity. As you can see, just hanging a little bit back, just trying to be conservative on the battery, build it back up, and at 60% at the end of the straight is a very good percentage. As you can see now, Will Lewis and Jake Benham battling up ahead as we get back up to 80%, 81, 82, 83, 85, 86, 87, 88, 90% on the battery, as we're all over the back of Will Lewis right now, thinking about going down the inside, but switching to the outside line, again, just not to put ourselves in a risky position. Speaking of risky positions, almost got wiped out by Nico there, but I think he had it all under control, and now lap 6, Will Lewis is going to be sending it down the inside of Jake Benham, but what's going to happen is going to lose the rear axle, and he actually slides into a Carlton, and that's going to give us the chance to go around the outside with the extra momentum and pick ourselves up into P16 in this race. So good movements forward already, but we had to use quite a lot of battery in that whole situation. But overall, looking very solid at the moment. Lap 7, P16, and we can really start to progress our way forward. The overtaking was surprisingly difficult in this race, actually. I thought it would be much easier given how long the straight is and how much opportunity there is because of this situation. But at the moment, in the first stint at least, with not that much tyre delta, well, in fact there's no tyre delta because everyone started on the same tyre, it's very difficult to make some moves as we're looking around the outside of Ika. But because of the cluster of cars, you can see unfortunately Ismail Fassi hit us from behind, and I think he has wing damage because of that, and I think Nico and Jarno do as well. So it was just really unfortunate. I was able to get my car slowed down enough, but like Kota, what happened to me, you can't predict these things, and because the cars are so close, it just makes a really ridiculous cluster. But now focusing back to our race, as you're going to see, we're going to go down the inside of Ika, but I feel like he turned into me here, but you know, and we had to cut the corner to sort of avoid him, and now on the outside line, we are going to be looking to try and get a good exit out the final corner.
Do you think that one's removable?
And you hear me asking, do you think that one's removable? And that's talking about the corner cut warning, so I will know how many opportunities I have to cut the track without getting a penalty later in the race. We think about looking down the inside, but he cuts it off at the last moment as we get a tap in the back from Nicholas Longue. So yeah, very difficult situation to move forward, and now you can see Nicholas is all over the back of us, but the momentum is not with us anymore because of the hairpin. And you see Nico sends it down the inside. We give him the space. We're going to try to go around the outside, but again, because of very strange contact model moment, you can see we tap the wheels and it just instantly sent me into oversteer, what meant we could not retain the position further on in that lap. We looked down the inside, but again, we're not going to go down the inside there. It's just a bit risky from where he was, but that opens the door for Jarno, who's going to go clean around the outside. So very good move from Jarno there, but very frustrating for us, as that really put us again on the back foot and undoing the work that we did earlier in the stint. But you can see Jarno has front wing damage as well, so that's an interesting point for me.
These guys have no front wing.
So it's like they have really good pace at the moment, but I know like the train is quite slow, to be honest, and because of the DRS, it's quite difficult to overtake. So opportunities are going to open up later in the stint. As you see now, Jarno's down the inside of Ika, and you can see Nicholas defending from Ika as well, as we're going to be all over the back of him with a very high battery percentage, and actually almost running into the back of him on the exit the final corner. And yeah, I built up my battery, played it smart, played it cool, didn't get flustered by all of that situation happening. And now we're going to go down the inside of Eco, and he's going to turn into us again. And now he's going to start wheel hooking us on the exit.
He's just wheel hooking me, man.
And you hear me actually talk about it live in the moment. And now we're on the outside line, and we're going to be able to sweep around the outside and take the position.
He'll dive, I know it.
And I really thought he was going to dive bomb me here, but fortunately he didn't.
Nice surprise.
And yeah, nice surprise, to be honest. And now we are going to be heading on to lap 15. As you can see, the tyre delta, because different people managing tyres in different ways, are starting to open up opportunities. And of course, people are starting to be impatient as the stint comes to a close on the hard compound tyres. You can see Jarno up ahead. I'm going to try and go for a sneaky overtake here around the outside. What going to lead to the inside line, down the inside. And you can see we leave each other racing room side by side for a double left-hander, but Jarno's going to have the momentum on the outside line. He's going to be able to retain the position, but this is what racing is about. That's great racing, and that's why I love racing Jarno and people that are clean, because you can trust them to go up the inside, and they know that they can hang the position around the outside, but it's the fact that it's clean, it's enjoyable, it's good, you know, and like really massive respect for Jarno in that situation, that I know I can trust him, I know that we can race, and I think he can trust me as well, what generates a beautiful racing like that. But now on lap 16, it is coming to a close for our stint. As you can see, big snap of oversteer on the curb. We've done a good job of regenerating the battery to a high level, and now we're going to be coming into the pit lane. It was a very last moment call, just about keeping it in the white lines there. I'm looking for a braking point, slowing it down, and just about getting into the pit lane in adequate speed. But yes.
This is going to be the one time I get held in the pit stop. I can feel it.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe not. Cheers, buddy. Yeah. I agree, right, cool.
So, you can hear me say I felt like I was going to get held in the pit stop, but fortunately I didn't. But now we're all over the back of John. John actually lost quite a bit of time in the pit lane, so I think he got held himself. But yeah, John's doing a fantastic job in this race, and he has been doing in the last few races as well, in like E-Series, etc. So really big respect for John, because he's progressing in such a great way. But now, focusing back to our race, of course, a lot of people have not boxed yet. So we are back down to P18, but of course that's going to work itself out to be a higher position eventually while the pit stops fiddle out. Thinking about doing a move on John, but decided against it and basically wanted just to have a better overall time for the lap, rather than fighting, rather than wasting battery, just get out ahead of people from their pit stops, and that is exactly what we've done now. We're going to be ahead of Jake Brendon by a good few seconds as well, so the undercut is extremely powerful on this track, this game. Of course, the medium tires are phenomenal, and that is going to be John Evans going down the inside of Bent, but we are going to turn that into our opportunity, and we're going to make the most of that, and we're going to go round the outside of Bent, what turns to the inside line, and we are going to be securing the move side by side, but around the outside we just break a bit later, and we sweep into P13 in this race. And what a beautiful move that was, right up behind Eco again, and you can see he's going to cut across us in the braking zone. Yeah, I think that was more 50-50, to be honest. I put my car in a risky position, but now we're going to go down the inside and get the move done. But yeah, like I said, I think that was 50-50.
Did I get wing damage? He hit my front wing there.
Because I put my car to the outside, but he did sweep across in the braking zone. But ultimately, I didn't get damage. Nothing bad happened in my race, so very fortunate for that. And now all over the back of Julian, down the inside of John as well. And we're going to be free wide in the braking zone. John's going to hang around the outside. Julian's going to try and go for the switchback, but we have just enough traction to make it happen. And we are going to be getting the position ahead of Julian right now. Big snap of oversteer on the final corner of the track, starting lap 25. And right now we are really progressing our way forward. Lap 26, we saved the battery back up again, and you can see 3 cars battling up ahead. We're going to try and go around the outside of John Evans, but just not enough grip on the outside line, and we're going to be trying to attack him as we're going down the outside. Going to switch to the inside. Not really many places we can go as John Evans looks to the outside of Duncan Hoffland as well, but he's not able to get that move done, and we're basically just folding back into position. P11 in this race. You can see Duncan actually has a screen freeze, what means he actually starts becoming a ghost car inside of John Evans. You can see he has another screen freeze, what is not ideal, not optimal for him at all. But that does present us a very unique opportunity. I know that Duncan and John are going to start using so much battery, and I know that Alvaro does not have DRS. So this brings a really great opportunity for us to start using our own battery and capitalize on this massively. And we are going to have a massive battery advantage down the straight. You can see John is already flashing. We still have 45% down the inside of 2 cars, down the inside of Duncan as well. And you can see we get in the car stopped. But this time we do not get a snap of oversteer on the curb. And we have phenomenal traction on the exit, and we are up into P9 in this race, all over the back of Duncan as we start the penultimate lap of the race around the outside, not using overtake on the straight because we want to take the lead of this train, because I believed in our pace. I felt like we had good pace, and I wanted to see what we could do. And of course, Bari is only 4 seconds up ahead with a 10-second penalty, so if we spend too much time fighting cars behind, we might lose the opportunity to get ahead of Bari. And now lap 27, still the penultimate lap of the race. You can see coming out of the second sector, starting sector 3, we are building the gap to 7.5
like we have really good
temps.
pace as well, so we have a lot of options.
7 and
I'll make sure to have good battery.
a half temps was able to build it up to, and that filled me with confidence and filled me with the opportunity that I didn't have to play DRS games, and that is my objective going into this final lap of the race. And we're going to be riding on board all the way to the start finish line here to wrap up the season here in WOR, all the way into the end of sector 1 into sector 2, and we are going to be starting a very crucial set of corners with 3.5 temps advantage to him on the limit on the breaker zone, getting the car rotated back to the power. We gained a tenth and a half to him in that one corner alone. 5.5 temps, 5 temps now to Duncan. We need about 8 temps on the exit of the snail corner to be able to stay ahead of him on the straight, and we are pushing for that. The car is on the limit. We're pushing the grip. We're pushing our luck. We are up to 6 attempts now, and we need to nail this left-right corner and into the left. We nail this into the right. Can we nail this again? We do. And look at the steering wheel. We're on the complete limit of traction, doing micro corrections all the way through. Back on the overtake button. We have built it to 8 attempts on the exit, just under, in fact, and weaving to try and break the slipstream, but not being ridiculous with it, trying to still be fair. And now Duncan is coming faster than the train around the outside. We're late on the brakes. We're not going to give this up the inside line. We're going to have the traction now. We're side by side on the exit, and we're just ahead going into the final corner of the season. P8 on track, P7 across the line, and yeah,
last to 7th. Fantastic work, buddy.
I was very happy with that. That was a very satisfying race. We did everything
lovely
we could
job,
have, and we maximised the result pretty much because the leading cars broke away in the early stint. So yeah, very happy with that 100%. Race, especially because we only had like 4 or 5 hours of practice on this new set of pedals to be completely used to a different feeling, different springs, different rubbers in the pedal. So yeah, very, very, very happy with that and feeling very good going forward. So everyone, really thank you so much for support this season. Of course, really happy to win the championship and feeling very good. Yeah, going into the new year. With our racing series, let's say it like that. Yeah, really, I can't really put it into words because the support this season has been phenomenal, and I feel very fortunate. I feel very lucky and very privileged to have such an amazing community and fan base watching the videos, supporting the videos, liking, commenting, subscribing, and just having a general positivity. I love that. To be honest, in industry, in a community that is, well, I don't know about industry, that's maybe too far to say, but basically a lot of the F1 community is quite toxic, to be honest. If you look on Twitter, social medias, it's a really, really bad place sometimes, you know? So the fact that we have like a really positive little community here means the world to me, and I really want to keep this going. So thank you so much. And yeah, I look forward to making some more general content in these next few days because, of course, League Racing is not here. So some tutorials, I'll be streaming, maybe just playing some other games as well. So yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next video. Grazie, ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.